Well, welcome everyone. I'm so grateful that you've joined us today. And this is Jody Colegrove, and I have the monthly Zooms I like to do that really help share with people how to get health and happiness back. So first I wanted to kind of start with, okay, a show of hands. How many of you have a story about COVID? And it could be you, it could be your family, it could be your friends. But how many of you have a story that you've kind of been through? All right. So how many of you have worried about your health over the past 1.5 years? Yeah. So how many of you wish that you were more confident about your health since we've gone through the last 1.5 years? All right. So after talking with many people, I really realized that we all have had a different experience over the last 1.5 years. And some are good, some are bad, some are afraid, and some are hard. But there's no two people have had the same experience. And so no two people are going to kind of have the same eye to eye of what how they've experienced this last 1.5 years. And so I think that's important for us to remember, especially for me, because I see it one way and other people see it a different way. But we still have to have a compassion for whatever that person's story has been. And that's friends, family, like I said, we're all have a different bent and understanding and experience. So personally, it has taught me how important our health is and how important it is to feel confident about how to take care of our health and to have a personal connection with our creator. So those are the things that I've, personally really have a takeaway from the last 1.5 years. So as I said, I'm Jody Colegrove, and what I do is my mission is, or my vision, I guess, is for all people to know a way that is safe, peaceful, and God-given to heal. And my mission is for you to have the freedom to choose that God-given way to take care of your health, whether it's wanting to get better sleep, enjoying better digestion, feeling happy and joyful. And that's only the beginning. It's your mind, body, and spirit coming together so that you have a life that you desire and you so richly deserve. And you can definitely feel much more confident in. So just wanted to get started today on what is and what I call an early radar system. It sounds a little strange, but let me explain. So have you ever felt that your nose was starting to drip, or you coughed, you had itchiness in your throat? Well, that's the time that I'm talking about to kind of stop, take inventory, and see where you're at. Because that's the time that your body is alerting you, hey, something is up, something's off kilter, something's off balance, something's happening, you need to pay attention, you need to listen. So that this protocol I'm going through is for that time. And that takes a lot of practice, I admit it, to stop at that moment. Because sometimes, even with a headache, if you think about it, if you start getting a headache, you're like just a little bit of pressure and you're like, oh, I'm sure it will go away. Well, that's the start of a headache. And so if we stop and say, okay, I feel it, what do I need to do? Then you're becoming much more present to know what to do. So a lot of times, like I said, when you have the drippy nose, when you have tingle in your throat, sometimes we say, oh no, I don't want to get sick. So we kind of push it away. Sometimes we say, nope, I'm strong, I can do it. I'm going to be good. I'm not going to get anything. Sometimes we say, oh no, we go into the fear state of, oh well, what's the next flu? It's the virus. Oh no, what's going to happen? What am I going to do? And sometimes we don't want to admit it, but sometimes our body says, oh, well, if I get sick, then maybe I'll have a chance to take a break. I can rest. My family won't ask for so many demands. I can kind of, take a break. And sometimes we don't realize that sometimes disease is helping us take that break. But we want to learn how to not let the body be in control, but let us be in control by taking a break for ourselves. So what should we do in that moment when we feel that little drip or that tickly throat? As I mentioned, we need to stop and observe. How do we feel? And what are we saying to ourselves? Like I said, what we said before. So you might think about what things that you usually say to yourself and kind of write them down so you can kind of be aware of what that internal voice is saying. But it's very important to be present. When you do this, you are no longer giving away your power. And a lot of times what I call getting out of Dodge. It's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to deal with this. I'm not going to pay attention to this. And you avoid it. And that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help you. Doesn't help you get well. Nothing. So the early radar scan that we have that I like to teach people is you have many points that things come to your body. Okay. So just going to give a couple, or as much as I can remember: nose, eyes, ears, mouth, skin, heart, even the chakras, your urethra, vagina, the anus. So there's lots of different ways that you can have bacteria enter the body, and that's how it gets in. So we think of, there's 12 of them. So we think of all those places, and I like to make sure that the body knows, okay, I've thought about those places, and the way we kind of connect those is kind of tapping above the ears. So then in quantum techniques, we have, and we've studied that there are about 25 immune pathways that your body has in it. And it's really important for the first 7 to be online in order for the body to really thrive. I had an example once where my dad doesn't like to eat salsa late at night because it really impacted, acid in his esophagus. And so sure enough, we ate salsa or chili late at night, and he goes, "Oh, I don't feel good." Well, I put back on, I think it was like 12 through 25, and the acidity in his esophagus went away. And so it really pointed to me that, sometimes there's a need to have all 25, but the first 7 are critical. So you need to make sure that those are online. Now, I cannot give you the exact pathway because that's quantum techniques company information. But what you can do is know that there are those 25 pathways, and you can go through me as a quantum technique practitioner to want to put them online. Now, if you can muscle test, you can say, is 1 online, is 2 online, and that kind of thing. Or you can just say, okay, I need to put all these online. And so I kind of just read them off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I go all the way up to 25, tapping above my ears. And that's just a way of the left and right brain connecting the hemispheres. And it's just a way that we get the body to kind of download that information, the best way to put that. The next points to remember is there are 5 what we call big brain engines. And so MOG, medulla oblongata, is the first one. Cell memory, which is kind of your pure perfume point behind your ears. These amygdala, and that usually, cell memory deals with the way your body was originally made. Amygdala deals with your emotions. MOG, just to go back, is kind of like this main connection of everything. Hippocampus is the awareness in the body. And then the cerebellum, which is the notch in the back of the head, is your chemical makeup of the body. So those are the big 5 that it's important to have your body recognize is online and needs to communicate with themselves. And these brain engines I gave you and all the entry points. So once you've touched those, again, just tap against here. The last point is 4 inches below your belly button. And that's just an acupressure point that we have found is to help the immune system switch. So that particular switch needs to be online. There's others that deal with, diop and detox and heavy metal detox and things like that. But this is for immune system. That's the one that's important. Now I'm going to do my best to see if I can share a screen, and I always look at that the other. Okay, where's all my buttons? Yep, here. Okay, here it is. All right. Woohoo! Okay, so everybody can see that. All right. So when we're dealing with the immune system, there's 2 different ways of thought. Okay, there is the one of the germ theory, and that was created by Louis Pasteur, and we've all heard about that. And then there was the terrain theory, which was, and this one I don't say very well, but it's Antoine Beckham. And these were the two theories that were kind of going during I think it was like the early, I think it's the late 18th century, early 19th century. And I've heard a lot of people say that on the deathbed of Louis Pasteur, he finally said, you know, you're right, it really is terrain theory, I was wrong. But I don't have, that's kind of hearsay. But these are the two ways that people think of things, is that, okay, if there's something wrong, we need to basically keep the fish as controlled or as secure as possible, but no matter what's happening in the fish tank around him. The other one is that, there's something wrong with the environment the fish is living in, so let's go ahead and clear the tank and see if that helps the health get better. So these are kind of the two areas of thought that are kind of bumping up against each other in life right now. Okay. Over the past 1.5 years, we have learned that we need to check several things in regards to the immune system. First, we try to make sure that everything in the body typically functions at a 10. It's just a way, I'm not sure who came up with the scale. I know it's not a quantum techniques original, but most things are at a 10, heart's a 12, and cerebellum, like I mentioned, is a 17. So we check and make sure, okay, is your immune system functioning at a 10? And if not, we want to find out why using quantum techniques, which helps with muscle testing and finding out, answering questions to find out the reason why. So we've learned, like I said, over the last 2 years, we've kind of expanded and understand a little bit more regarding the immune system. So the first one is you have an innate immune system, and that's what you were born with. Then you have the acquired immune system, which is what you acquired over your lifetime. It's important for both of those to function at a 10. And what I have found through all the people that I've tested is that it is typically knocked off by anesthesia. And so there's old dental anesthesia, surgeries, whatever it is, that are stuck in the immune system and not allowing it to get healthy or keeping it low. The other thing is, if you have had COVID, a lot of times what happens is that leftover virus and bacteria is stuck in the immune system, and it's like not being able to kind of really clear it. And that could be because of the anesthesia. And if you have a question on anesthesia, the reason why I find it up a lot is anesthesia purpose is to make the body go to sleep at some point, but then sometimes it doesn't ever leave and wake up. And so it's almost like it's deadening the immune system and not allowing it to wake up and go back to its fullest robustness. So if someone has COVID that is continuing and not clearing, or they have what they call long haulers, that's typically what's happening, is that the body is not getting rid of it out of all the cells in the body. It's still impacting the immune system at the acquired or the innate. And it could also be stuck inside the cells at the cell surface receptor level. So that's another thing that we work on clearing, is getting it out of those cells. So how do you have a robust immune system? The first important is to have a good attitude. Okay, believe it or not, living in fear does not help us have a good immune system. It seems like a no-brainer, but sometimes fear and frustration and anger can take different ways or different belief systems. So yeah, you have emotions, but there's also belief systems of the world is not safe. I'm not safe. It's really important to clear those as a curtain, what we call it, but just being aware that those two things are not allowing the body to heal. So you can think about that and tap above the ears to clear those beliefs. And so what I suggest is, making a practice to choose to view the world as a wonderful place of joy, beauty, and love. Make sure you're filling your day with music that you appreciate, pretty pictures, or looking outside, reading something that's good. Just finding ways to make sure that you have that joy, the beauty, and the love in your life. Kids, animals, all those kind of things add to that kind of love. next thing you can do to help take care of your immune system is to put on an energy shield. And I have a video that's really good explaining that. And so if you are interested in me sending you that YouTube video, you can put in the chat your email and I can send you, and just put in like energy shield, and I can send you that video. But the idea is that you are kind of putting on like a, Spider-Man suit, but for women I always like Wonder Woman suit, but it doesn't cover much. But you're thinking about putting, her boots on, and then, pulling the suit up over your head, up in your arms. And then I always zip it up from the navel all the way up to my bottom lip. And so I'm thinking about making sure that I have a good shield so that I'm not letting all my energy out to everybody. And I'm also not receiving all their energy and with negative energy and things like that. So that's the purpose of it. You could also put an EMF, electromagnetic field pendant, if you have that, underneath your pillow at night. Because at night we're a little bit more vulnerable to things that are going on, our subconscious is kind of clearing out the day's ideas. I used to do this when my husband was working a job that was not so happy for him. And so he kind of like dumped his emotional issues on me at night. And so that's where I kind of learned this. So I always put an energy shield underneath my pillow, and it just allows me to be able to sleep better and not take on that energy. All right. The next thing is a little bit different than energy shield, but is putting on a cloud of protection. And so I think about, you can see in my things, I love pretty white fluffy clouds, just like my favorite thing. I'm usually from Arizona, we have beautiful clouds. And so I think about just putting this fluffy cloud all over me. And I just kind of like put myself like in this fluffy bubble. And it's just being aware of saying, if there's people that you have to encounter throughout the day, that is somebody that has a lot of energy, it's almost like you're saying, I'm a bubble woman, a bubble boy, and don't come past my boundary. And so sometimes if there's difficult people, I start testing. Does it need 3 inches? Does it need 3 feet? I had a very difficult person I had to work with, and it was 25 feet. So you can choose, what works best for you. So I think that's kind of fun to just kind of know that there's certain people's energy that really can, just want to bounce off and let go. So it's a good visual of how to do that. Another thing that kind of goes along with viewing the world as joy, beauty, and love is saying the Ho'oponopono prayer. And that is, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry, thank you. I'll say it again. I love you, I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And kind of like we went back from the very beginning, everybody's had a different experience. And so sometimes saying that prayer has helped me just kind of be more compassionate, settle down into, it's like, okay, I know I'm good. Maybe I can help them be happy too, wherever they're at, whatever they're dealing with. A smile can go a long way. And so saying that prayer helps me be a little bit more in a better place to be able to receive others. So I think that's really something that I've tried to do over the last 1.5 years. So herbs, there's certain herbs that are really helpful in order to help your immune system be very strong and robust and to be well. So those are things like vitamin C, vitamin D3, omega-3. We have some special other supplements that we find to be very, very helpful. That I can tell you about specifically later. Oil of oregano, curcumin, which really helps lower inflammation in the body. Acea, which is a really good source for glutathione. Yep. And it really helps just help the body and flush it out with all the bad things and really set it back in balance. The next one is an herb I've been trying for a while, and it's an herbal blend, which is called Potandum. And that herbal blend helps with the NRF1 factors and NRF2 factors. And it really helps increase the glutathione. Now, I found that not all of these do you actually sometimes have to take at the same time. So sometimes if you are taking a SIA, you might not need as much Protandim. So it's always good to muscle test, and that's what we do to try to find that. I've also looked into some things called patches, and it's by LifeWave. And they also have a really good patch for glutathione also. And they also have a patch called X39, which deals with stem cell activation. And so a lot of people, if you've ever heard about stem cells, they inject them into different areas that you have issues with. You can also take them, and this one is a patch that you put on to help stimulate them. And I can test different ones to find out which is helpful. Yeah, I think you go ahead, Mary, or I'm sorry, Amy.
What was the name brand of the X39?
It's called LifeWave.
LIGHT?
LIFE and then wave.
Okay, did not hear that right.
Yeah. But yeah, and they have several others that are very helpful, which I found to be very interesting. So I'm trying them before I kind of really share them as a Zoom meeting. So so far so good. So, and I had used them a little bit before, so I'd had some history with it for the last 5 or 7 years, but they've expanded what they do, and so it's been interesting to learn. But it's really important, again, to find a supplement that's really helpful for boosting your glutathione, because that's really going to help the cellular, at the cellular level, flush out the toxins and what's there and being held, which will certainly help your immune system. And if you have information, or I do, I have an article that's really helpful with that. If you'd like that, you can also, I don't do very good with spelling. So if you need information on glutathione, do your best to spell it. If it starts with a GL, I'll get it. I'll know what you're talking about. And then other things that you can do for your actual home environment is sage. Is a lot of times people go around and sage their home to clear out anything that has kind of come and that negativity, so you just feel like, yeah, it just really is negative in here. I want to clear it out. That's a good way to really clear the atmosphere and of your home and do that. You can also put a blessing over each one of the openings in your house. And so the one that I have for me is that this home is owned, occupied, operated, managed, and protected by Jesus Christ. And I find that that's been very helpful in order to just put above every doorway, window, and things like that, to just kind of let everything know, hey, this is what we're doing here. Don't need to come in. And I find that to be very helpful. So we do have several codes that are very helpful for people to read if they are struggling with their immune system. And so we have one that is specifically for the coronavirus. We also have one that is to help boost your immune system. And we have 3 different kinds that are like that. And we also have another one that is for protection from others that have gotten the shot and may be shedding on you. So we have those 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 codes that have been helpful through the last 1.5 years to help with that. So I can certainly send you that information. So just kind of to recap, the tools that I mentioned is, what can we do to prevent or stop, or what can we do most to prevent and stop an illness from continuing? And that is to stop and to take action at that moment. Because when you cut it off, that's when it's really going to be helpful. The next one is to develop a practice of taking care of your own health. And there's many ways to do that: exercise, eating well, stretching, taking herbs that are helpful, and knowing the supplements that are very helpful for you to take. The third is to do everything you can to take care of your immune system so you don't get a large accumulation of viruses and bacteria. I have a mastermind coming up where I'm going to be helping teach people how to do those different things that they may have not thought of to help take care of their immune system. So it's like eating healthy and drinking and things like that. So there's different things that you can do. So I have a mastermind coming up the 1st of November about that. So if you'd like information on that, you can put type immune in the chat and I can send you or put you on the list for that. Then we also have some QT basic codes that really help deal with if you are feeling that drippiness and the tingle right away. So we have a standard virus code, a standard bacteria code. We also have an ingestant, an inhalant, contactant, and an injectant. So sure enough, I was sitting here about ready to go on, and I started itching, and I desperately like to go outside and sit in the beauty of the world. And these little mosquitoes think that I'm lunch. So I started itching. So I have a meme thing that I can put on that helps the itching. But injectants will get you, and so we have a code for that. Also in my morning shake, I thought I had tested it, but sure enough, my avocado had some bacteria on it, so I had some grumbly intestines. And so, those things happen. And so by having these codes, I can just say, oh, I have an injectant. Okay, release the injectant code. Oh, I have a ingestant. Okay, release that. So it's nice to just have on hand so that you can clear those things. So if you're wanting a list of those, you can go ahead and in the chat put QT codes, and I can send that to you. So I'm Jody Colegrove, and you can email me. I said it at Jody at Quantum Techniques, or you can email or put the information in the chat. The three things were the energy shield, the glutathione, the immune system, and the QT basic codes. And so some of you know a little bit about what I do and some don't. So basically, I'm just saying that at Quantum Techniques, I help people get their health and happiness back. Together, we discover why you're having a health issue and what you can do about it. So maybe something through muscle testing, we find that you may be encountered a toxin like mold or food or a smell that's been impacting you. I help people with non-healing issues. And it can be anything from, liking chocolate too much to really big stuff. We identify emotions and beliefs that may be blocking your healing that you're not aware of. And so that way you're not staying in happiness. So I'd love the opportunity to work with you and help you or someone you know that's really struggling. And for new time clients, we offer a special of 60 minutes for $300 to help people with that. So I'll have a question and answer at the end here, but I want to tell you a couple ways to kind of get a hold of us. So I mentioned Jody at quantumtechniques.com. We also have our website at quantumtechniques.com. I have a YouTube channel, and that's Jody Colegrove at Quantum Techniques. And I do a lot on Facebook. So I have a Facebook page at Health and Happiness Through Muscle Testing. And then I have a Facebook group where we can share things back and forth, and that's the Health Puzzle Academy. So I'd love to open it up for questions and see if you had anything that you had from what I went over. So feel free to raise your hand or go unmute, and we can answer those questions. I'll try to also look at the chat, see if I had something there to answer. Okay, so Cheryl says LifeWave patches are amazing. So I'd love to know what you've had experience with the LifeWave. So that would be great if you want to share that, Cheryl. So yeah, what I've had with the LifeWave is that, like I said, my husband was in a job where he came across a lot of chemicals, and so I found the LifeWave, and he was able to put it on, and he didn't become a bear when he came home because it cleared his liver, and so he was happy. So I kind of say that LifeWave kind of saved our marriage. So Amy, go ahead.
Do you have a distributorship that we go through you on the LifeWave, or can you just order it anybody?
I am a distributor. I came one because I had used the glutathione before, and I thought it was so spectacular. I wanted to show up.
Could you send me your affiliate address so I can look it up, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
And they also have some meetings where you could listen in on that talk a little bit more about the product and stuff like that. So I can send you, there's different times where there's different ones that are really helpful. And Tuesday night, they have a meeting that's like the doctors talk about it. And that's been very helpful for me to kind of learn.
Seems to me like years ago, I've heard of it for like weight loss patches. And then I haven't heard about it again until you mentioned it to me.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the way I was. I had, like I said, I think I found these way back in 2008, maybe. and I've been using them. Like I said, they've increased what they're doing, and they were used a lot for like facelift or helping with the youth. But they had the glutathione, and now they've added sleeping, they've added energy, they've added a thyroid one where you kind of put on your thyroid and it helps, it's called Nirvana, and so it helps detox the thyroid. So it's been very interesting. I really enjoyed it.
I have a question actually for, I think it says Claire. Sorry, I don't have my readers. You put on a pendant. What is that?
Oh, you need your volume.
Yeah, you're on mute. Can't see.
There you go.
This is just for blocking EMS fields.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I use my shungite all the time too from Quantum Technique.
Yeah.
That's on all the time. I like your pendant though. That's awesome.
Thank you. I don't like, all I know, my friend gave it to me, but he said it was for blocking EMS fields, and when I put it on, I do feel a difference. So I was wondering if that would work if I put it under my pillow as well.
Yes, that's great. Yeah. And does it have two sides?
I mean, the other side is just blank, to be honest with you. So
Let me just ask real quick. So she could. I would. What I do is that I wanted to deflect energy, and so I put it upside down. So the pretty part, put it bottom down. Yeah, like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that way
right,
you're
okay.
keeping it away and not getting more energy at night.
Right. Okay. So like, because so I've got the blank part next to me, so near where I am. Yeah. Well, in the same way, if I wear it on my body, I've got the blank part. I get you. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, no, it's great. So Cheryl says that glutathione has helped tremendously to get rid of migraines and headaches. X39 is for skin rejuvenation. Great, that's good to know. Thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate that.
What is glutathione? Sorry.
Yes, the glutathione.
What is it though? What is it? Sorry.
Oh boy.
It's an amino acid.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
It's one of our biggest liver detoxifiers, if that helps at all.
It's one of your biggest
liver detoxifiers.
Oh, liver detoxifiers. All right, brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, that's why it's been so helpful. You know, if you come across heavy metals or anything like that, it will help clear it out. And that's what really helped my husband.
Me too.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, and I know, like, when you feel like something coming on too with the ASEA, I've even taken a half a bottle at a time when I feel that little something as well. So I love the ASEA. I just do.
Great. Yeah. No, it's funny that you just drink something. It's kind of a lot of times people feel like it's salt water, but it really is not. It's flushing your whole body with the nutrients that it has. And so it's really giving it what it needs in order to flush it out and to be more healthy. And it helps energize, but not in a false way, which I love. So it's a really good, it's like slowly repairing the body is the best way to put that.
Sorry, I'll mute while my dog is barking.
It says, Cheryl says that ASEA is great for healing wounds as well. That's great, Cheryl, that you know both about ASEA and Life Waves. Looks like we're kindred spirits on that one. Yeah, she says she's been using both for years. If you guys want information on a special supplement, there is the best way to get the information at this time is on Telegram. And then you can find the channel that's called the Universal Antidote Videos. And that's really helpful for clearing out virus and bacteria. And we're just not trying to promote it because there's people that don't want it talked about. So we are keeping it quiet. But if you need more information privately in an email, I can send it. Does anybody have more questions?
I was just going to ask you, on your Facebook show, the health and happiness and muscle testing, like, I actually need to learn how to muscle test. So if I look at that, will that help me learn how to do that?
I can also send you a video on muscle testing.
Okay.
I do a mastermind. I was going to do it this fall, but I decided to do it next spring because I felt like more people needed to know how to take care of health and happiness. So my mastermind on muscle testing, I'm going to do in the spring to teach people how. But I can, there's also Quantum Techniques has a lot of videos that you can purchase, or it's not saying not a lot. It's one video you purchase, which is Truth Techniques, that helps teach people how to muscle test. And they have like 17 different ways. But it's really being confident on who you are. You know, a lot of times people do the, the ring test, or they do the, I do this right here. So I'm pushing down on this muscle in my body. But yeah, it's just finding a muscle that you can guarantee you with your answer. Some people like just touch the top of their fingernail. And if it sticks or if it's slippery, it tells them. So yeah, there's just so many different ways to.
Because I know, because I've YouTubed it before, and like I've never found one that works for me, and I tried dowsing and it never moved. Like it just doesn't. I don't know why. Like I just haven't been able to do it. But
usually the things that sometimes get in the way is that you're reversed itself, so you can't get good information. So I always have people side of hand, under nose, side of hand, and that will help reverse that to help testing. Another thing is to like get a picture of somebody. No, that's not gonna, they can't see it. Anyway, get a picture that where someone's standing and you hold what they call their belly spot, and you're holding your belly spot, just right 2 inches above your belly button, and you hold that as you muscle test. Now, obviously, if you're doing an L ring test, you can't do that, but there's a 5-second rule. So you touch that and you want to be on a healthy sit. And so there's a 5-second rule to switch to that. So that sometimes connects the circuit so that you have better testing. Another one of the things is if you are wearing a detergent or in a moldy environment or some inhalant is near you, you're not going to have very good testing. So that can block it also. And then one of the other things is sometimes close your eyes, and that way you're not trying to live up to some performance issues. And so you're just closing your eyes and then you test. You're almost like feeling instead of watching. And that's another trick.
I don't want to butt in, but I'm going to give one more trick.
Sure.
And that's rub the thymus.
Okay, yeah.
You can do that, and that'll reverse your polarity as well.
That's great. Thank you.
cool, thank you.
Well, great.
But make sure you're asking when you muscle test too, show me my yes, show me my no. And if you're getting it, then rub one of the spots that Jody said, or try rubbing your thymus. And then again, or say, my name is Amy, my name is Cheryl. Something that's giving you a definite yes and no. And I'm sorry, I really didn't want to butt in on here.
No, you're
But I've
fine.
also had people north of the equator, if they still can't get a good yes or no, face north. If you're south from the equator, face south. And that also helps just with your whole body polarity. So
Oh, that's cool.
sorry, I didn't want
Oh,
to.
I love that.
But
I
in-
haven't heard that
but-
one.
Those help a lot. And if you are south of the equator, really make sure you're facing south and then asking your yes and no's, because you could just be polarity, your opposite polarity, just by facing north. So try it, see if those help as well. And then I've even had one other person say that because I went through applied kinesiology at Northwestern, and I've had people say too, if you have your ego in your questions, try to get your ego out of it and try to go to a blank slate. That helps as well.
Cheryl piped in and said that the sway test is the easiest to learn and to start with. But I remember someone was trying a sway test in the laundry detergent aisle. I'm like, okay, it's not going to work for you there. She also says that wearing a pendants can also block testing, I've heard. Also making sure you are well hydrated. Very good thought, Cheryl. Thank you. Yes, because energy works with hydration, so you need to be hydrated. And she says, thanks for the information, Amy. I wasn't aware of that. Neither was I. So I learned something. Oh, that's what I love about this.
Welcome.
Oh, great. All right. So Claire would like muscle testing and the energy. I'll go through those. Okay, I think I got everybody's questions answered.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming today, guys.
Well, thank you for offering this, Jody. As always,
Yeah, thank you.
we learn something always.
Always, yes. And next month, I'm not sure what's on the next month. Miasm, so generational issues and why they kind of repeat. So that could be both physical and non-physical. So like if you have an issue with not having enough money or not being able to eat chocolate or wheat, we can find out what it is in the generationally that's blocking that.
Good topic.
Yeah.
Good topic.
So let's see here. We covered that. Yep, I think I got it all. So great, guys. I really appreciate it. And I will take down your information of what you wanted me to send. And I will send that out tomorrow because I need to have dinner because I'm hungry. All right. Well,
Thank
blessings,
you.
Jody.
Yes. Blessings,
Lovely to
Carol.
connect with you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Blessings.
Bye. Have a lovely evening. Bye.
You
You
too.
too. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye,
Jody.
everyone.